people are doing streams where they eat on camera. People are doing streams where they sleep on camera, and people love it, right?
Yeah.
What's the next frontier?
Mm-hmm.
I got it. I'm gonna take a dump on stream.
I was just thinking that. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate it. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on, and love to get to know you a bit more, and I know our audience will too, for sure. I mean, and if you may, or if you let me, I'd like to introduce you to our audience.
Sure. I love meeting new people.
So you're a Twitch and YouTube partner. You
That's
have
right.
over 74,000 followers across social media.
Do
You've
I?
been streaming. Oh yeah, I mean,
I don't
yeah,
keep track of it. That's wow. That's crazy to hear that.
74,000 people. Yeah, absolutely. You've been streaming variety games for over 7 years.
Yeah, that's right.
You're a self-proclaimed professional internet asshole.
You
said it.
That's the
You
Twitter
said
bio, right? Well, how else do you explain what I do? I mean, I go live, I make a bunch of silly sounds, say a bunch of silly things, and act like an asshole. So I mean, and I get paid to do it. So I think it's a pretty apt descriptor.
And you're Jabroni Mike.
That's right.
Jabroni Mike. Should I call you Mike?
Mike works. Mike would, the jabroni kind of makes it a little awkward. So Mike is Mike is fine by me.
What is Jabroni?
The word jabroni.
Yeah.
Oh, the last time I checked out the dictionary definition, it was a silly or objectionable man who kind of a buffoon, a fool, which kind of actually ended up entering the lexicon of like the world of professional wrestling. Like you'd have, and I don't know how. Oh, I do know how. The etymology of the word had to do with the word jobber. It's kind of like a bastardized form of the word jobber. The jobber is the guy who loses to make the other guy look good. Because you may not know this, but professional wrestling is kind of fake. It's kind of staged.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Right. So the jobber is the guy who, loses to make other people look better. It's like a silly kind of a word. And somehow it got co-opted into like, I don't want to say like Italian American culture, which is me, but also kind of it leaked out of that realm into common parlance. So it says, "Oh, look at this jabroni. This guy's a jabroni." It just means like a jackass. It just means a jackass, which as you can see, my self descriptor it fits in there well. Right? It
Sounds like
well
sounds like something like someone from New Jersey would say. Look at this
Exactly
jabroni.
right.
Something. Like
Yeah,
so,
exactly right. It is not an Italian word, though. My understanding
Right.
of the etymology is that it is actually not an Italian word. It just sounds like one. Ends in a vowel.
And apologize to all the people from New Jersey for my terrible impression.
They don't mind.
All right, so Jabroni Mike, which I mean is a good way to say, or to, it's really well linked to your personal description of like being an internet asshole, if you will, right? Because it's kind of like, a little bit,
Well, look at the. Have you seen my avatar? Also,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's that. It's actually not a jester mask. People think it's a jester mask, but it's actually a Venetian mask, which is the kind of mask that you'll see being worn at like Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras, and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's kind of it's a symbol for me. It's a symbol of revelry. It's a symbol of, we're having a good time. We're gonna let loose. We're gonna act silly. Maybe a symbol of excess too.
Yep.
But in a good way, like a good kind of a hedonism, a healthy kind of a hedonism. Like we're having fun. We're cutting loose. We're acting silly. That's the kind of atmosphere I'm trying to create. I think that all comes together for the branding. And it's not something I consciously thought about. It just kind of fell together, and I was like, you know what? I like that. I like that. That works. That all feels good together for me.
And you're one of the first VTubers on Twitch. and you've used face rig with like
Yeah.
many different characters, right? Like
Yeah, a
Mac, I think you
few.
started
Yeah.
with like Sonic the Hedgehog, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Well,
the first one, and then Neptunia, and
yeah.
then you have your own creations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
I think
about to
it
debut a
yeah.
new one actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Can you
in
tell
the
us more
next
about
couple
this?
weeks. I kind of want it to be a little bit of a surprise, but
Maybe a hint?
um it's the thing that you would probably expect me to have more than anything else in terms of an avatar,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
I mean,
Um,
I don't know.
as a,
I
well,
we'll let people try to like
you'll
guess,
see.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
If they
yeah.
if they want, but this one I really like. It's actually the first one that I've had creative input in. And by the way, me being the first VTuber is like a meme. I technically wasn't even probably close to the first VTuber, but I was doing it before it exploded in popularity. So I took that
Well,
opportunity to say, "Oh, I did it before all these other posers," you know, as a joke though.
well, you were certainly one of the first. That's the note I have here, at least.
On
You know, like
Twitch, I think
on
I think
Twitch. Yeah.
I could have legitimately been because at that time I had the um whatever that program was. I think it was called FaceRig was the
Yeah, it's
program.
Facebook. Yeah.
And
Yep.
it had a bunch of default characters that I was
Mm-hmm.
using. Like it was like a turkey and like Santa Claus and all this silly stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then there was eventually I got into the Steam Workshop stuff, and that was where I found the Sonic the Hedgehog and everything, and I
Mm.
started getting like really stupid, doing the anime girl. I got the anime Hyperdimension Neptunia, and then I did the anime voice and all that stuff, and it was that was actually pretty popular for its time. And then now, at one point, somebody made me my own. They were like, "Okay, what if we make you an avatar? What kind would you want?" And I was like, "I think it'd be funny if I had this voice coming from an anime girl." So they made me this anime.
Yeah.
That was where that character came from.
Mm-hmm.
And now I got to a point where I was like, what if I just commission my own and get something that's like exactly what I want? And that's what I've done. So that's going
Yeah.
to be in the next few weeks.
But you don't
Debuting.
just do VTubing, right? Like you switch back and forth,
The VTubing
correct?
is a thing that I do just here and there for like a little variety, a little bit of fun. I
Yeah.
think the professional VTubers, like they, you don't know what they look like. They go hard, and they have their avatar. That's who they are, and that's what they put out there, and that's their whole thing, and they take that really seriously. But I more do it as a hobby, pretty much. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a VTuber. I just kind of do it as like a little hobby. It's fun. The technology is cool. It's getting better all the time. It's yeah, it's just a fun thing for me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to be a
I-
VTuber,
If you
strictly.
had to pick, like VTubing
Mhm.
or just like regular self.
Well, I mean the moneymaker has served me well. The old literal meat and potatoes is literal
Yeah.
meat and bone. I guess it has, it's served me well. I would go with this. I would go with the flesh, the human body over
Hmm.
the weird cartoon. If I had
So
to
to
pick,
understand,
yeah.
so to understand correctly, are you saying you're making more money when you stream as yourself than when you're VTubing?
No, I think it was. I said money maker as in like as a comment. Oh,
Uh,
like don't hit me in the money
Right,
maker or like
right,
the
right,
expression
right,
money maker.
right.
Literally, I don't know. That's a tricky question. I think because again, I'm not really like digging into the decimal points here, but I think believe it or not, there are a lot of people in the Twitch audience that are turned off by that kind of thing. So like I'll go into YouTube comments. I'll see people saying, "Ooh, I immediately stopped watching the moment I saw that there was a VTubing avatar."
Mm-hmm.
They don't like it. They think it's icky. They think it's weird. They think it's yucky. They're like, "Oh, I'll tune out immediately if I see that." But
Yeah,
and then you have people that just love it. So I mean, does it balance out? Who knows? I like to go
yeah,
for I do a little bit of A, a little bit of B, and just kind of whatever I'm in the mood for, and you know, kind of keep
yeah.
it.
There's definitely a crowd for VTubing, and we had actually quite a few VTubers in the past few weeks
Mhm.
on the show, and there seems to be a lot of like anime
Yeah.
looking characters as VTubers, and I feel like it's just like a scene where it's like if you either kind of like love it or not. I feel a lot of the times it's like you're into VTubing and you're into anime VTubing characters, you know, or you're kind of like not. It's hard. I don't know. I feel what you're saying about like people maybe being
Yeah.
turned off
Yeah.
because if you're not into it and your favorite streamer, being you,
Hmm.
is switching to a VTubing or a VTuber, um, yeah, I guess it could put some people off. I
Yeah,
guess, but
it certainly does. It
you know,
certainly does. I think so.
you know,
Um, but you just kind of do your thing. You got to do what you want to do at the end of the day, to an extent. I mean, yeah, you obviously have to think about your audience, but if you're not kind of being yourself and going with your own rhythm and doing what sort of feels natural to you in this space, then your content's gonna reflect that. I think
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's to me, I would say that you're the you seem to be doing a lot of like what you feel like doing, right? Because
Hmm.
like you're a variety streamer,
Hmm.
or I would say content creator. You do VTubing, then you don't, then you do it again. You change characters, like
Hmm.
and you don't. I mean, you call yourself an internet like professional internet asshole. Like you don't really care too much. I guess it's kind of maybe the vibe
Hmm.
I'm getting from you. Like you just want to do what you want to do, which goes against what a lot of people think would be like the right way. And again, I'm using air quotes
Hmm.
here, guys, if you're
Hmm.
listening. The right way of doing content creation, where we should stick to like a specific genre or a specific game to grow your audience and so on and so forth. But you seem to be like going all over the place. Like, is that something that you just can't help? Like, you just cannot stick to one thing and just go with that?
I think it's for me personally, like the kind of personality that I am. If I was doing one thing all the time, I'd get really bored of that. And I think that following your instincts and saying like, okay, there are a set of best practices, right? Those best practices being you've got to have an extremely strict schedule. You got to play your one game that you and I mean yeah there's so many creators out there that really just stay in one game. They only play one game. But I think that if I were to try to stick, and I'm aware of those best practices, of course, but that's just kind of not what I want to do. So I don't. And I think that
Yep.
that has been an asset. I do because people they see it and they say like it depends on what kind of audience you're trying to attract. If I sat here and I said I'm only going to stream League of Legends or what have you, which is a game I have actually never even played, I would attract a certain kind of audience. If I did this, I would attract a different kind of audience. But I think there's a kind of audience that's drawn more to, I guess, like freeform type of streaming, or I don't know what he's going to do tonight, and that's exciting to me. So
Yeah.
that's the audience that I think that I attract, and that's my so-called niche. So I stay there, and I'm happy with it. I'm comfortable with it. I like having the freedom to do what I want, um, but it's not that I don't like. I do care. This is my career. I want to do it professionally. I've been doing it professionally for years. I would say. The first couple of years in, maybe I was like trying to find my legs, but by like year 3 or 4, I said, okay, this is what I have. Obviously, I have a passion for this. I love this. By year like 3, I said, okay, this is it. I wouldn't trade this for anything. I'm in for the full Monty on this. I really enjoy this. Uh, Obviously, it's fun and there's a little bit of a glamour to it, but it also allows me to have a kind of, I guess, like a creative freedom, or it satisfies a creative instinct that I have in a way that I didn't expect it to before I started to.
Yeah.
And now
No,
I,
it
I
makes sense.
yeah, and it allows you to, because you're making something, aren't you? If I make a broadcast, I'm making a thing. So that is like where the creative element comes into it, and it's the type of thing where it is a little bit more abstract than I'm making a painting or something. You just have to experience it to understand. And that was a major like I got so far from your question at the end there, and I apologize for that.
No,
My
no,
bad.
no, no. That's great.
Uh,
I mean, to me, like, it's, you know, when I said you don't care, it's not so much like you don't care about your audience or you don't care about your career. It's more like you want to do what you want to do, right? And that's what I'm
yeah,
getting from this,
right, right.
right?
That's what you asked me. Yeah, I couldn't even
Yeah,
like remember what you had asked me.
right.
A
But
little bit of the ADHD going on.
I think that it just makes it harder on you to because people come to see you, not so
Yeah,
much the games that you're going to play. It's more like, hey, I'm coming to go check out Mike. I don't know what he's going to play like
that's right.
tonight,
That's right.
but I'll discover it. But it just makes it harder because typically in gaming, and then on Twitch or YouTube, you're gonna build a connection based on the games you play because you have that in common for sure. Because you know they're gonna come and see someone play a game and say like, "I love this game. This person loves this game. Let's see if there's more that we can connect on." I guess right. Then it could be like the sense of humor and this and that.
Sure.
But just changing, different themes and changing games like often just makes it so it's I'm sure some games you connect more with the audience, some less maybe,
Yeah, absolutely.
with
Sure.
your personality and stuff like that. So it's just that. But ultimately, my next question, I guess, is: do you get bored of a game sometimes? Like, do you just play a game and like the next day you're like, I don't feel like playing this one. Like, I'm over it. And what's next, right?
What I'll typically do, and this is how I think most streamers in the variety space operate, is they kind of cycle through the games. So, if I try out a game on like Wednesday, I'll let it germinate a little bit. I won't return to it maybe till like next Wednesday or like Monday or Tuesday. So that I think helps me personally from not getting bored. But I think that for a lot of viewers, for my viewers, they enjoy that kind of that spontaneity, and they know that they're going to get the variety and all that stuff. It also that the kind of not wanting to get bored actually also speaks to the kind of games that I gravitate to. Like for example, The Binding of Isaac is I'm sure you're familiar
Yep.
with it. The other night, I just got the final achievement in the game, something that like 2% of players have this achievement, which is just like I'm very proud of that. I'm very psyched about that.
The God achievement,
The Dead God achievement,
the
yeah,
Dead
which
God, yeah.
yeah, that's the very few people have that. So, and that took years
Congrats.
and years to get. But that's a game where you will never have the same run twice. There's such a, and this just that speaks to my love of the whole roguelite genre, where
Yep.
you never know what's going to happen going in. You don't know if you're going to get that dream combination of items or abilities or whatever that show you something you've never seen before. Like that. Again, that helps keep you on your toes. That's probably why that's my favorite genre of game. Also, there's a little bit of like if you have an addictive personality, those games will get you too, because it's a little bit of a gambling element. Because every time you start a run in one of those games, it's like you're rolling the dice. You don't know what's gonna happen. It could be crazy. It could be poop. You have no idea what you're gonna get. But that definitely will stop you from getting bored, right? Not knowing what a run is gonna be like in a game. And if I if I get bored at games, which I do occasionally, I will I'll do a stream that's like not a video game. Like I'll do something that's like the other night we were sitting there watching. You familiar with like the finger family genre of YouTube videos?
No.
It's that whole basically it's like almost AI generated like SEO bait to like try to generate clicks on YouTube, and they make
Okay.
these bizarre animations for children that end up like not really being for children. I'm certain some of your audience will know what
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
talking
Okay.
about.
Okay. I wasn't familiar with the term, but I think I know what you're talking
It's
about.
kind of the catch-all for that, like just
Right.
trash. But sometimes they end
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
being funny because you have characters and situations like they're not meant to be in. Like what happens if Sonic the Hedgehog is hired to kill somebody's family and all this bizarre stuff, and it just ends up being kind of hilarious. So we'll just sit there, and I won't play a game at all. We'll just sit there and watch these videos and kind of laugh at them and be like, analyze them and find out
Yeah.
what's going on. Or
Mhm.
the other night I was experimenting with certain like AI stuff. Like we were looking at the DALL-E image generator and the OpenAI Playground stuff, which is the
Yeah.
text-based AI generator, and just putting
Yeah.
things in and seeing what we get. And the audience will be like, "Wow, this is really interesting." This is really interesting stuff. Or we put funny things in there, like yeah.
I've tried that. That's quite fun to
It's a
play
lot of
with.
fun messing around
Yeah.
with the AI stuff. So I'll do streams like that where again I'm just not playing a game. But
Yeah.
in terms of my again, you attract people who are interested in the games that you play. And I did the Have a Nice Death campaign with you guys, right?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
That went great. The audience loved it because that was exactly the type of thing that I'm talking. Like that has all the elements that I was talking about. That game, like it has
Yeah.
that. You don't know what you're going to get when the run starts. You don't know what abilities you're going to find. All that random ability stuff. It had that, like kind of that boon system from Hades, which is great. And it had that. I think one of my favorite things is it was similar to the starting area of Dead Cells, where they have all the, if you've played that, where they have all
Yep.
the items hanging from the ceiling. So you
Hmm.
get that sense of like every time you start a run, it's like, wow, that's my progress. That's what I've done. That's what I've
Yeah.
unlocked. And you see the little empty ones, which tells you, okay, there's more items, there's more abilities for you to collect. Like that is the type of thing I absolutely adore in games. Like, because in roguelites, like sometimes I think that the birth of the genre was you die, it's over. It's very over. And they do still make games like that, but I sort of prefer the ones where there is a sense of progress like that, where no run feels like a complete waste of time, right? Because even
Agreed.
if you have a run that goes a little bit poop, like, you're 10 minutes in and you die, well, I still got some kind of currency, or I still got some kind of a new item. I unlocked something, or I got an achievement, or I did something in that run that made it like worth my while. So
Yep.
those are the kinds of games I stick with, where there's that sense of progression, even though um, you died, or you're having fun, but you're also like working towards something. It feels like.
Yeah, it's that sense of progression is I think is crucial. I mean, for me, like when I play a roguelite,
Mm,
um, I I need to feel like I'm not wasting my time. Like I have so little time to play games nowadays
right.
that when I do play a game and I feel like I've wasted 30 minutes of my life,
Yeah.
and I mean, I guess you learn to, like you get better at the game. I guess like
Yeah.
30 minutes, like more 30 minutes more experience playing the game, but still, like having that visual cue. I think you hit it right on the nail. Like starting the level and be like, oh shit, let's look above or look around. Like you
Yeah.
can see the progression right off the bat. It's very encouraging. It gets you
I
to like go again. Get that
I
next run.
love
Oh,
that.
one more run. One more time.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
type of thing I absolutely love. Again, yeah, people have so little time to play games, and there are games like that out there where they don't, roguelikes that don't have that sense of, because I think this is the difference between roguelike
yeah,
and roguelite,
yeah.
basically, right
Exactly.
here.
Yep.
And the roguelikes, like I still will play them and enjoy them, like Noita, or I can't, the game from Finland that I can't pronounce.
Demon
Noita?
Souls.
Demon
Or
Souls, which one is that?
it it's the one they just remade for like last year for PS5, right?
Uh-huh.
Where you like from software, where you go through
Oh, it's
like
from software.
a level, and you basically have to do the full level without dying, or you start again from the very beginning.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's like it's
That sounds like a game they would make. Okay.
but I think it's like a remake of their very first game that they made, which was like just like a test game, if you will, of the concept, right? But
Mhm.
like I I couldn't even finish the first level. I got discouraged basically because of that. Because I tried
Yeah.
again and again, and I would get closer and closer and closer, but still I would never get that feel of that sense of progression or that sense of like I just felt like I was wasting my time. It's a beautiful game. It's an amazing experience as a gamer, and I know like a lot more people than like are much more like patient than me. And
You got to be with from soft. Patience is like the name of the game, I think.
right,
Right?
well, but with Elden Ring, did you play Elden Ring at all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Loved
like
it.
Elden Ring,
Loved it.
I loved Elden Ring. It's not my like typically like from software games. It's just I'm not patient enough for their
Mm.
games in general. I love them, but I'm just not patient enough. Elden Ring allowed you to I guess they gave you more time to just run around and do your own thing and just
Yeah.
take the time. You could grind. It reminded me of like World of Warcraft, where you could be killing boars for 3 hours and you still progress somehow. It's a
Right.
bit of the
Yeah.
same thing with Elden Ring. If you decided to like stick to like lower level character enemies, you could just grind it up, like grind your characters.
Yeah.
And anyway, but
That
these
was
are
actually,
roguelikes.
that was my first from soft game. You believe that?
Hmm.
That was my first one. I
Yeah,
think for a lot of people, it was their
a lot of
first.
people. Yeah,
And I absolutely loved it. And it does have that sense of progression that, because yeah, like you said,
yeah,
go kill low level enemies, grind your runes, level up. And I mean, there's no, I never felt like my time was being wasted playing that game.
yeah.
Um,
I'd be like, I'll just go kill that giant, then I can
yeah,
upgrade. Then I'll go
yeah,
try these other harder
yeah,
enemies because now I have almost no runes on me. Got nothing to lose really. You can always
yeah,
go back and get your runes, and it's like
yeah,
it was. I think they found like I think From Software will just continue to build games like Elden Ring moving forward
They
because
found the formula.
yeah, I think they found
Yeah,
the formula that works
I
for them.
agree. Yeah, I agree. I can't wait to play the next Elden Ring. I mean, if you just gave me Elden Ring 2 where you changed nothing except you made a new map, I'd play it right now.
Yeah.
I was not like sick of that game by the time I beat it. You know, I probably had like about 100 hours in it by the time I beat it, right? Like that I think that's pretty average.
The
And
problem
yeah.
with that is that by the time they make Elden Ring 2, I bet a lot of people will make Elden Ring like games, right?
Sure,
And
sure,
then
sure,
maybe
sure.
Elden Ring 2 would feel like, now we've had Elden Ring, we've had a lot of other games doing similar things. Like
Right.
they might have that pressure of like improving on it.
Mm.
But you're right. How do you improve on something like this that is pretty much, I mean, it's not flawless. It
No, of
has
course
its,
it's got issues.
yeah, problems, but
But
yeah.
I think that the simplicity of it is part of the appeal. Like to the extent that it is simple. I mean, there weren't too many like crazy game mechanics. Like you had the summoning and you had that, but there wasn't anything that would like it's you walk forward, you cast your spell or you hit the guy, and it's how would you improve on that, or how would you innovate on that without taking something essential away from it that made it like what it is? I wouldn't want them to. In my mind, I would say, okay, yeah, we played all these ring likes if you want, but they did it first, they did it best. Although we're saying like they started the open world genre, which isn't true, but they just they transferred their format into the open world genre. If somebody tries to imitate that, I would check it out. I'd be interested, but I'm very partial to FromSoft. Can you tell? Like, I'm very happy with them right now because they made probably like, I think easily game of the year. I don't know why people are suggesting anything else could be. I think anybody who played the game would feel pretty confident in asserting it's their personal game of the year, right?
Well, there's a lot of great games this year, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
because I think a lot of games have been pushed to 2022 as well that were supposed
Okay.
to,
Oh.
launch like in
Mm-hmm.
2021 and
Mm-hmm.
all that. So it's a great year for gaming, but Elden Ring's certainly up there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say, or was it released this year or last year? Actually,
It was this year, right?
this year, 2022. Yeah,
I don't.
I don't know. Time flies, man. I don't
Right,
even
right,
know.
right, right.
It's probably going to be game of the year, whatever year it came out.
But yeah, but I like I said, I enjoy games with a sense of progression. The other one I wanted to mention to you is: have you played Spelunky?
Yes,
Er, Have you played the sequel?
I not yet.
You
I
know
think
for
I own it somehow, but I don't. I haven't played it yet.
because for years people are like, "Oh, you like this genre of game? You got to try Spelunky. You got to try." I was like, "Okay, I'll try it. I'll try it. I'll try Spelunky." And then I played Spelunky, and it was like, "Wow!" Just getting my ass beat. And
Yeah.
again, it doesn't have that kind of system of progression. Like the unlocks, I think, are cosmetic, which I mean, that'll keep my attention for a little while. But ultimately, like that's the difference. Like, why didn't I go back to a game like Spelunky? It was because I didn't necessarily feel like, yeah, the time I was putting into it was being like rewarded in that sense, where I
Hmm.
was getting a tangible kind of progression. The progress was the learning, as you said earlier. Like
Yep.
that's you get a piece of knowledge that helps you in your next run. And I again, I do like that. I don't, and I will play games like that, but the ones I keep coming back to always have that broader sense of um, progress going on.
Yeah,
Where like I can
absolutely.
see myself like unlocking items, getting things.
Did Spelunky 2 get like that sense of progression more? Or, like, they still stuck with the
It's
old
more. It's
school?
just cosmetic as far as I can
Yeah.
tell. And
Hmm.
that's not. I'm not. It's a wonderful game,
Yeah.
especially if you enjoy being mad. You know what I mean? If you're the type of person who
Yeah.
enjoys being mad and angry, you're going to be in your glory with Spelunky too. But I do think that was, again, like I played it for a while, but why did I not come back to it? And I think
Hmm.
the answer, or Noita, the game I was trying to talk about
Yeah.
before,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
why do I not come back to it? Because it doesn't feel like there's no tangible sense of I'm progressing.
Yeah.
Um,
But I know some people like absolutely like swear by those games. Like I got a friend like Spelunky 1.
mhm.
Like I don't know, I think he played like over 1,000 hours. It's crazy. Like he just loved it,
Yeah.
And I think that I can certainly see that having played the first one and it's more about it's a personal preference. Like
It is.
I'm an old guy in this industry, if you will. Like I'm 37. Again, like I said,
Oh,
if I was 20, right?
you're ancient. How old do you think I am, bud?
No, I'm not, I don't think I'm ancient.
Well, I'm saying I'm the same age as you.
Oh, are you? There you
Yeah,
go. There you go.
yeah, we're the same age.
So no, we're not old really, but in the
Yeah.
sense that I feel like I have a kid now, and it's like
Mm,
time is more valuable to me now than it ever was, if you will, right?
mm,
And
yeah.
when I was 20, I again quote unquote wasted so much time. Nowadays,
Mm,
like I'm
mm.
more conscious of like the time I
Yeah.
spent and how I spend it, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. There's like a game like well, Spelunky is one example, but Demon Souls or whatever other rogue likes,
Mm.
right? I feel like might be more appealing in a way, or an easier, uh, more easily sold to a younger audience, if you will,
Kind
right?
of makes sense. Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Mm.
my theory. But what are your goals for on Twitch and on YouTube, like moving forward? Because you've been doing it for 7 years
Mm.
plus, right? And you have a new character and so on and so forth. Like, are you sticking to your formula and like keep going head on with what you've been doing?
Yeah, I think I mean I don't know like probably you don't hear a lot of people say this or answer questions like that in this way, but like I think I've met the goals. Like I think I'm kind of like where I want to be. I mean, I guess like having more, um, like growth and having I guess like more income is always going to be nice. Of course, it's that's society, right?
Yep,
But
yep.
but like in terms of personal goals and creative goals, I think I'm hitting them right now. I feel like I'm in a great spot right now. I like what I'm doing. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm getting positive reactions and feedback to the things that I'm doing. I mean, if there's complaints, I'm not seeing them, and if I were seeing them, I would most likely ignore them. Uh, but um, again, not because I don't care, as discussed earlier.
Yeah.
Absolutely I care. I wanna like I said, it's a creative thing. I wanna make something good. I wanna make something that people enjoy. Right now, it feels like I'm doing that, so I guess I'm gonna continue doing that. I guess it's like more of the same, and I think that um, I have no reason as of right now, I have no reason to try to reinvent the wheel or whatever, or try to do something new or wacky. So where do I see the future going? My hopes for the future, frankly, is just that I get to continue to do this, to do the whole Twitch and YouTube thing for primarily again Twitch, YouTube. I don't put a lot of focus into YouTube these days, but I hope I just get to keep doing what I'm doing. That's my hope for the future. I think that's the best case scenario, is that I get to continue doing what I do the way that I do it, because honestly, being able to do this has been a complete privilege. It's been a privilege is the word that I would use. I'm honored, really. Like I know that maybe sounds like a bit much, but the fact that I get to do this at all, the fact that this type of thing exists and I get to be a part of it is just fantastic, and I'm so grateful for it. And I don't think I'd change a thing. My hope is that I get to keep doing it, and that nothing stops me from doing it. Um,
I
and that's my
mean,
goal. Yeah.
I mean, you're right. Not a lot of people will answer in that way, but I think it's a shame because I mean, that's it's great to hear. It's
It's a
really
good
great
place
to
to be.
hear. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I'll tell you this, I've never felt that way before in my life. With all the things that I've tried to do, I think I got into this industry relatively late in life. I would have been about I think I was about 29. I think it was 29 when I did my first Twitch broadcast, And prior to that, I had done all manner of jobs, all manner of I was in offices, I was in kitchens, I was in cars, I was driving, I was a security guard, I was a real estate agent, oh my god, I was, I worked at a paintball court, endless small businesses, and I never found that thing that was like, uh, this is what I was. an intern at a major publishing company up in Manhattan because that was what I went to school for. I was a communications major. I thought I wanted to be involved with the publishing industry, and like that kind of never panned out either. So all these things that just didn't feel like I belonged there. I always kind of felt like an outsider in all these things I tried to do, and not to mention the fact that none of those things were like creatively satisfying to me. Um, I play drums as well, as you could see. It's one of
Hmm.
my it's like my other passion would be music. They're not in good shape right now. So apologize for the mess, but that was the one thing. But was like that's very hard to kind of have a career in music. Most musicians will tell you that.
Yep.
But this was the first thing where I felt like it was like kind of what I was supposed to be doing, and it felt like it just kind of came naturally to me, and it was like, yeah, this is the type of thing, creating content, and kind of. I will tell you, I think one of the major factors for me was realizing the potential for me to sort of be my own boss and kind of have that like I'm kind of my own business. I have, if you look at it that way, it's like I sort of have my own small business. And I think one of the reasons I didn't really, I ran into issues in the other jobs that I had throughout my life was butting heads with superiors and butting heads with coworkers and saying, like, you're wrong, you're not doing this right, you're just not having that, like, I guess wanting control and not having it. That makes sense? Like wanting
Yeah,
to
yeah, it
be a
does.
decision maker.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And that was actually something it's funny. It's like this, you grow up and like maybe, whether or not you get along with your parents, most people think like I'm nothing like that parent. But it was a very similar trajectory to what my father went through. He had a bunch of jobs and then eventually he realized the only way he was going to make it was to like start his own business. So I kind of think I followed that path. I think the apple didn't fall far from the tree with that, but um, I don't even remember what your question was. I'm so sorry.
No, no, it's
I
good.
probably
I mean,
veered way off again.
I, I, I love that. I see the contrast between, you feeling privileged and humbled of what's happening to you right now
Yeah.
and what your life was before. And can you, to contrast with what's happening with you right now, like, can you tell us some of the darker and um, more difficult times that you had to go through in your previous life, if you will?
Feeling, and this actually ties into what I do now, I think. It was honestly, it was an overarching feeling that no matter what I did, my effort and my labor was not being appreciated by anybody. And that actually led me down some pretty dark paths because it made me feel like, I could bust my ass doing overtime for this one employer in particular I'm thinking of. And I'm doing like 12-hour shifts for this guy, and I'm doing all this crazy stuff overnights, driving to like, a couple of counties away to like cover a shift for somebody else for this company that, for a couple of years, like I thought was appreciating it. And then when there was a supervisor position available and I made it very, very clear that I was interested in it, they, kind of like sidelined me and gave it to somebody else because of what I perceived as nepotism. Whether or not that was valid is another question. But it led me to a dark place, and I kind of had, um, that feeling of not being valued, not being appreciated, feeling like I'm just somebody's I don't know, pawn or something. And I think a lot of people end up feeling that way in their lives, especially nowadays. But that feeling definitely was, and I felt some version of that at pretty much, all of these previous lives. In all these previous lives, I always sort of felt like I wasn't being fulfilled, I wasn't being valued, I wasn't being appreciated, and my creative side of me, my creative instincts were either being like suppressed or ignored or not even being utilized at all, and that felt very frustrating to me. And what else was frustrating was none of those. it felt like my education and my background and my talents and the skills that I thought that I had were not being appreciated or weren't just of value to anybody or to the world. So that made me feel that led to some nasty stuff. That led to even some substance abuse and things like that. But
Mm.
contrast that to this. Now, I don't know. You could, if you want to do an armchair psychology thing, you could dig in and say like, oh well, it's because you have a personality that craves validation or something like that. But I don't necessarily know that it's that. I think it's the feeling of my labor. I put it in. I see a positive reaction. I see a financial benefit, right? Because again, when I do this, when I make these choices, I'm going to do this stream. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it my way, Frank Sinatra style. And I am rewarded for that, right?
Yep.
That is massive to me. Like I am, the master of my destiny in that way. Or not a silly way to put it, but my choices lead to my success. My choices are not somebody else's success. My labor is not somebody else's success. It's mine. All right. I guess it's
Yep.
Amazon Corp. But if we share it, but it's that feeling of, and then you have of course the audience telling you how much they love what you're doing. I never had a boss tell me he loved what I was doing. I'll tell you that much. I never
It's a
when I
shame.
worked in those. I never had that. Not that I remember.
No, no.
I mean, maybe I'm just kind of hyping, like making the bad parts more in the front, and then pushing the good parts back. But um,
Well, we can have a discussion about how memory, like what people decide to remember or not. But
right,
like ultimately, it resonates with me a lot what you're saying because that's why I got into business in the first place. That's
yeah,
why I left my job 10 years ago to launch my first business, right? And
yeah,
that's I never looked back, and I think it was for similar reasons.
yeah,
And that's what you did too. You launched your own business because, like we said earlier,
yeah,
you're your own boss. There's nothing, and guess what? Like if you're if you're looking for validation, let me tell you something. When you start streaming, you're not getting validation. I mean, you're starting from scratch. There's nobody telling you you're
yeah.
doing a great job. When you're your own boss and you have your own business, there's nobody, for example, above me to tell me I'm doing a great job.
Right, right, right.
I got to tell myself I'm doing a great job all the time. Maybe
Well, I
my
think you're doing a
business
great job.
partner. Thank you, man. You
Hope
too,
that
all right?
helps. But
But
yeah,
it's just great to hear that where you've been and where you are today. It's just so I'm just really happy for you, and
thanks. Yeah.
it's great to hear that those types of stories. And is there anybody like that helped you
Oh, absolutely.
in the
I
process?
yeah. I mean, I would be nowhere if it wasn't for like I'm gonna say there's like two handfuls of people. I don't think terribly many um, content creators really do it alone. I think well, I think they did when there was still a little bit more of a Wild West aspect going on here. When the market was less saturated with people trying to make it in this industry, you would have those like, yeah, I came from nothing and I built it up on my own type of a thing. But I had a really good friend of mine, Vine Sauce is you may have heard of Vine Sauce.
Yep.
He's a huge creator. Has been creating content for something like 13 years, I think. Uh, Maybe like 14 years. He's been doing it for forever. Well, I went to college with him, so we were college buddies. And I think at one point, during one of those, I think actually the job I was talking about earlier, the one the one where I was doing all that overtime and everything, the one I was telling you about. I think he sort of noticed. He was like, because he had been doing it for years at that point, and he was having a massive degree of success. And he said, I think you should give this a shot. Like I think I'm doing this thing. I feel like you might be good at it. Give it a go. And he encouraged me to get into it, and he helped me out. He gave me a huge head start by like hosting my channel and stuff like that. So I did have some cheerleaders early on. You know, I think definitely, it's not a rags to. It's not like this is not like a total bootstraps from nothing story, for me. So I'm very grateful to him. And today he and I are in a band together.
Oh, cool.
We've been in a band together like since that time. We still play music together. It's a lot of fun. Love it. The band's called Redbox. If anybody wants to check it out, it's
Red
alternative rock.
Vox?
Yeah, VOX,
VOX?
like
Okay.
Latin for voice.
Awesome.
It's alternative
Yep.
rock. It's so much fun, and I'm partial to the songs. I mean, I'm the drummer, so I'm gonna be a little bit biased, but I think the music's great. But anyway,
Of course.
yeah, I owe a lot to Vine Sauce and Varg Skeletor. Joel, you familiar with Varg Skeletor?
Nope.
He's in the Vine. He does the Windows destruction stuff, where he loads up a virtual machine and just tries to destroy Windows by installing like every
Yes.
little add-on and like mouse,
Right, right.
like mouse animation and cursor animation and things like that, Bonzi buddies and all that, to just see what it takes, to destroy a copy of Windows. It's hilarious. My buddy Reb Scarecrow, who's also streaming on Twitch, doing all that stuff. Lime Malicious. They're all they're in the Vine Sauce like family. So the Vine Sauce streamers really helped me out, brought me under their wing, taught me so much, and they've just been like super generous, and I think these people are great. I'm very partial to these people for helping me out in my career, and I feel like I owe them a lot. And every opportunity I get, I try to send people their way. So,
Well, shout out to them.
yeah, for sure. Check out all of them. Also, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Fred Knudsen, who is the creator of the Down the Rabbit Hole series on YouTube, which you may be familiar with.
I heard of it. Yeah.
You've heard of it. Everybody's heard of it. He's massive. I met him at a con a couple years back, and he and I hung out a lot. I feel like he helped me get a lot of exposure on YouTube specifically too, and I'm really grateful to him for that. And we even did a podcast together. We did a couple of episodes. I'm hoping we get to do more in the future. But basically, we're just looking at weird stuff and talking about weird stuff on the podcast. It's called The Warrens, which is like where rabbits live, right? They live in little rabbit holes, cold warrens. So it's like his rabbit hole series, but light. So we just go in there and talk about wacky stuff that like he would normally do one of his rabbit hole episodes on, but he doesn't want to sink the time and energy into it. So we do like a mini version of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But these are the people that I think I owe pretty much all my success to. I don't think anybody really achieves anything alone. And I think that's extra true for this industry. And I think that's extra true for this industry, especially in the last several years. I think networking is probably like king here,
I mean, I'll tell you something. Networking is king in a lot of things.
Yeah,
Like
everything, sure.
you talking music, man. I know the music industry quite well, and I'll tell you something. Networking is absolutely key there. I think
Sure.
business networking, like because any type of business, it's done between two parties, right? And you
Sure.
have to want to work with a person. If you hate someone's guts, but they have the best product ever, you're still not going to do business with them. That's the bottom line. It's
Yeah.
so we're all humans here trying to make ends meet, and we want to do things with the people that we feel good around. I guess or good with. I don't know. Talking about feeling good about something, what is your favorite and least favorite social media?
Oh, that's a great question. I think they're all awful. I can't really give you like I think for a long time for me it was Twitter. I think for people who do the type of things that we do, it's kind of like a necessary evil. I think that I think Twitter is the one that probably still offends me the least. I never really got into Instagram, and recently I got into TikTok, and I mean, I feel comfortable saying this to you because we're the same age, but like I weep for the future. Like I think that
I actually love TikTok, man.
you
Honestly.
like it really.
Yeah, I actually do. Yeah.
what do you like about it? What gets you?
I actually started making some TikToks.
Oh, okay.
Probably very cringy, but I'm just having fun with the platform. I think that it took me a while to start doing stuff, but like I've been just scrolling a lot. Just I don't know. I
Hmm.
think there's a lot of creativity with the platform. Still, like
Sure, it's
it's
there.
still kind of fresh. I love like cooking in life, so like there's a lot of great
Oh,
recipes, a lot of great cooks there.
I will tell you that the food TikTok is. I am really honestly enjoying the food TikTok. You got me there.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
it's
food
really good.
TikTok is outstanding. Like I love seeing these things that people cook and all that. And
Yeah.
seeing like especially like from other cultures. Like you'll get like here's what's going on in China, and you'll see somebody like making a huge like seafood boil with like oh my
Hmm.
god all the different like crab like 5 different kinds of crab, and you're like wow I want to try that. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun, and I don't know. I think at least my feed. I mean, your feed is. I've been scrolling on TikTok for a while, so my feed is pretty much like very much tuned to my taste, if
Tailored.
you will. Yeah, tailored
Yeah.
to my taste
Yeah.
exactly.
Do
So,
you feel like
uh,
it's a little sinister how much it's like digging into you, or you think it's a, or
I
you like
mean,
the feature? You like the feature.
I like the fact that it's good. I love the discoverability of the platform.
Okay.
Working with content creators for
Hmm.
years now,
Hmm.
I love the opportunity it gives just human beings, but also content creators to get discovered on the platform because I
Sure.
think, Twitch, not so great for discoverability, Twitter,
No.
terrible.
Yeah.
Even though they're better now than they were a few years
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
both of them, it's still nowhere near what TikTok can do for you.
Right. And it's still
Uh,
the fastest growing. So, in your experience, though, do you
yeah,
see a lot of like turnover from TikTok? Like, so in other words, say a content creator like me,
hmm,
I've been putting TikToks out there for I think a couple months now. I've been really
okay,
like trying to hit that and
yeah.
take advantage of it, I guess. But like, do you see a lot of like turnover from so say somebody is discovered on TikTok? How likely is somebody from TikTok to go investigate their Twitch channel or their YouTube channel?
Likely, I would say about maybe 5 to 10% will.
Okay, okay, and that's actually a high number
Yeah,
in this
it
this
is.
kind of field, right?
I
Five
think,
percent.
and it depends obviously how much you advertise yourself as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Okay.
And I think as well it depends on the quality of your content because I think, and that's one of the reasons why I've also actually started doing my own TikToks is I wanted to test it out as a creator,
Yeah.
to put myself in. I used to do content creation on Twitch and YouTube, but just wanting to try it out. And one thing I noticed is like for example, I don't even have 200 followers right now,
Hmm.
and I got a video that got 81,000 views. It's like
That wouldn't happen. That would never happen on Twitter.
name
Yeah.
exactly name me a
Yeah.
platform that can do that for you, right?
Nothing. Nothing.
So exactly. So
Yeah.
I think like it's about making content that fits who you are, like how
Hmm.
people perceive you, that fits your tone and your voice. Because it's these are like such a short, like these are short videos, very short videos. So people's impression of you, like you have a first impression, like they have a first impression of you really fast, and like it either sticks or it doesn't. So it's a great way to like try new things as well on the platform because if a video doesn't do well, it's gonna be forgotten in 12 hours, and you can just
Yeah.
do another one and try something else. So I think like making original content for TikTok is the best way to go about it instead of like recycling what you're doing on your stream. I think um,
Mm-hmm.
there's people that do it really well though, recycling their own content, and I'm
That's what
not
I've
saying
been
not to do
doing.
it, but
I've just
yeah,
been taking Twitch clips and putting them on TikTok,
yeah,
which I mean I could see what's going on. I mean one of the things that about TikTok that kind of like scares me is how much like how easily you get sucked into it. Like I'll look at like I'll be like, okay I'm gonna look at like 2 videos and then I look up and it's an hour later.
yeah, yeah,
Like that is
yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah. That's
that's
crazy.
that's so crazy and kind of
Yeah,
like trips me out. But yeah, I've just been putting the Twitch clips on there, and I am seeing people. I know what you mean by original content. Like you're making videos for TikTok,
yeah.
and I I mean I guess I could do it, but it's sort of like I don't know if I necessarily like want to do it, but I
Well, yeah,
could do it.
I get
Yeah,
it.
I think that some of the TikToks I'm putting out there right now might be well, like you're probably aware of this by now, but like me and my community, it's pretty like R-rated humor. So
Yeah.
like TikTok also doesn't like a lot of my clips because I'll drop an F bomb or something in there,
Hmm. Hmm.
or talk about, I'll make some kind of like like R-rated joke, like sex joke or something, and
Yep.
TikTok will be like, nah, we don't like that. So I kind of gotta, maybe I gotta take another look at that. Maybe you've inspired me to take another look at that. And
Well, that I'd love to hear it, for sure. And I think like for me, one thing I've been doing is like doing a lot of duets and stitches. I think duet for me like like the best. When I started
duets,
like
huh?
yeah, duets like I've been trying to do like many different things, silly things, skits, and all that bunch of stuff just to have fun. I'm just having fun, right?
Hmm.
But like I'm also trying to figure out like how can you grow on this platform, you know? And I've reacted to it like the video that did the had the most views, when I'm saying like 80,000 plus views, is a duet I did with like a guy that cooks like vegan stuff, right? And he's
Okay.
like, and I got nothing against vegans at all, and I'm kind of like, but I'm kind of being a dick on this video, and I'm like, that's not real food, that's the, and I'm you know,
Uh, uh.
and so people are like in the chat, like they're kind of like reacting very strongly about it. And that's kind of funny because
Well,
I
that's
have absolutely nothing against like vegans, and I
yeah,
mean that's great. Like I mean, so but then I've started doing more kind of like food like duets, if you will, like reacting to food stuff. And I've been cooking for 20 years probably now,
yeah.
and I love to cook, so I got some knowledge and stuff. So that started doing really well. So
Hmm.
it's about trying it out, having some fun, and I think like for you, like, and for anyone, to me, in my opinion, is that TikTok is a great way for people and content creators to show another angle of their personality, if you will, right? Something
That
that they
makes
won't
sense.
see on stream. So that can be appealing for the people that already follow you on
Hmm.
Twitch, for example. But is also would be more adapted to the platform as well. So like doing a duet or like a funny stitch with like
Yeah.
your personality
Hmm.
that is also there on Twitch, but in another setting, if you will. Like it's just, I think it's a great opportunity overall to do some original content, and it takes like literally seconds sometimes, or
Yeah.
a few minutes. It's really, it can be really easy. Um, and I know some people like they spend like hours making TikToks. Like production value is super high, but like
Yeah.
if you don't want to take the time, and you just got to find a formula that works for you with the time you have, and like what you like to do on TikTok. And so it's like, I don't know, I think there's a real like, again, opportunity to, it's very um adaptable, to anyone depending on like how much time they have to invest. But it's yeah, you know uh I would say for content creators, and if anyone has been listening to this podcast for at least a few episodes, like I mention TikTok all the time to content creators. I'm like, be on TikTok. So when you say, oh, you might like change my mind about doing more
Yeah.
TikToks or
Yeah.
like doing original, I love to hear it because I think there's still a great opportunity, a great window of opportunity for to bring a lot more, to bring people to Twitch, for example,
Hmm.
to watch your stream coming from TikTok. Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe I'll take another look at it. Yeah. Hadn't considered that.
glad to
Uh,
hear it. I'm going to segue into our end of episode segments
hmm.
because time flies.
Yeah.
And we got this segment, which is called Explain This Tweet. So we got a
Okay.
tweet here that talks about Twitter, the state of Twitter, that she posted on January 17th. And you say, coming on this app is like electrocuting your own balls in that it's very painful. And so saying that you seem to have like a love and
I
hate
have seen
relationship with Twitter.
I have seen this tweet before. Actually, I have seen it before. Is it? You said it's a new tweet?
No. It's your tweet from January 17th.
Oh, wait, that's my tweet.
It's your tweet, yeah. I hope you've seen it before.
Did you? I'm like, oh, I've seen that tweet before. I tweeted that. Oh my god, I'm shot. Oh, I'm shot. So yeah, I mean, I think it speaks for itself. What you're asking me basically why I tweeted that?
Well, what is the most like what is so painful about Twitter in your mind?
I think that I think it also has to do with like the way that we curate our own experience and like the way that we interact with it and the way that we kind of interface with the platform. And I think probably most people will tell you, and this is probably right, that my beef with Twitter was because of like the way I was using it. So like if I saw a tweet, right, I would, say it's an article. Say it's a tweet with the link to an article from CNN. My instinct would be like, okay, so I'm going to read the article maybe, and then I'm going to finish the article. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the tweet and I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to look at the replies.
Oh
And
no.
I can't stop myself from doing this. It's like, actually, I haven't been on Twitter in months. Like, I haven't actually used Twitter in quite some time, in a couple months, I think. I
For
deleted
real?
it off my phone because
Oh.
I think what was happening was I don't know what. I think there's a part of me that is like sort of like as messed up as it sounds, it's like kind of drawn to the negativity. Like I want to see like what people, and I know their opinions are going to piss me off, and I know that they're going to be arguing with each other, and I go in and I look at the arguments, and I look at the arguments, and I watch these people insulting each other, and criticizing each other, and just having like expressing such like low intelligence and critical thinking skills that it would make me angry and like upset. Like I would get like upset by it, and I would be like, well, here's the electrocuting my balls part. I'm going to go into the comments and watch these people just insult each other and bash each other and
Yeah.
argue with each other and be really like virulent with each other. And like that whole I mean this is like not to get like political or bring it to like a wider to bring it to a wider sense. I think like you could and like to be vague and general about it,
Hmm.
like you could take like whatever that animosity is and like expand it to the world at large, and I use it to identify like a lot of the problems in the world, and being like the fact that people kind of behave this way and think that it's okay to speak to each other like this and think that it's okay to even just like feel this way about other people is probably like not a good thing for civilization at large. And I think like maybe you'll have future sociologists arguing that social media enabled some of that negativity and that stuff that and I think the internet at large probably, but and I think in some cases it even like spills over into like actual violence.
Hmm.
So I don't know if it's I think the internet brought a lot of good to the world. It did a lot of wonderful things for the world. I mean, look at my career wouldn't exist without
Hmm.
the internet, right? But then you have the dark side, and I think that the dark side is very
Dark.
prominent on Twitter.
Yeah, no, and yeah, I think it's a real issue. I mean, you
Hmm.
talk about violence. I mean, there's violence on Twitter. I mean, violence doesn't mean punching someone in the face. You can be violent, by just writing
Yeah,
words
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the comment
I mean,
section.
words have power, sure.
Absolutely, and like
So
cyberbullying is a real thing as well. Like for kids, it's
yeah,
such a shame. Like how like these kids like attack each other on social media and all
yeah.
that stuff. Like there's no, it's a real issue. And I feel you, I feel you. But I mean, yeah, it's also like I'm not sure like that is again as 37-year-olds. I'll put you and I in the same
Hmm.
bubble here. Like it's a great way to spend our time. Much rather be on TikTok and scroll there, but
I have been
but
enjoying it lately. I have, but like in a way
yeah.
where it's like I kind of resent it. It's like, why am I on this app so much? Like, what? It's because
But there's
stop.
less negativity, I think, and also like I'm less drawn to look at the comment section
Hmm.
on TikTok than I am. I hear you on Twitter. I think
I don't know why I do
So
that. I don't know why I
yeah.
do that. I don't know why I'm so drawn to like people, like a dumpster fire. And
Hmm.
one of my favorite stories that I tell this on stream all the time, where I realized like maybe coming on this app isn't the best thing for my mental health. There was some kind of article. I want to say it was about the national debt, and I go into the replies, and these two people are like hurling insults at each other, but it's
Hmm.
still a very like educated conversation. Like it seemed like these two people, like at least one of them knew what they were talking about, and his name was Shrek's Piss Slave. And I
Credibility goes to zero then.
and I said maybe I don't need to see the opinion on the national debt of Shrek's piss slave. Maybe I don't need his opinion on this. Maybe I'm okay without it, And I told, I said it while I was live, and chat was like, no, that's one of the greatest thinkers of our time. Like he's the modern,
Right.
uh, the greatest like economic writer of our day. I'm like, okay, well maybe. I don't know. It's just silly. It's just silly.
Yeah.
Like maybe, at the end of the day, he's Shrek's piss slave. He probably has no idea what he's talking about. Why am I even reading? Why am I wasting
Yeah.
my short time on Earth reading what Shrek's piss slave has to
Exactly.
say?
Exactly. And I think it's a
Yeah.
sentiment like we're only 37 years old.
Mm.
I think as we get older, I think this sentiment is going to be even more and more prominent in our minds. Like
Mm-hmm.
okay, is that really a good way of spending the limited
Mm-hmm.
time? Because you see the how do you call that the sand
The hourglass.
the hourglass.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Sure.
Like
Sure.
you see the hourglass, going like being like
Yeah.
you know is it at full F empty now? Like it's like so. Yeah, absolutely. I feel you. Now we have to move on to the next section. Audience questions. We have two, but I only have time for one. Okay, but I'm picking a sauce like a great one. I think because I'd love to see you do that as well. It goes, hey Mike, have you ever thought about doing a sleep stream or sleeping stream? I'm sure a lot of your fans, including me, would love to watch you sleep. LOL.
Well, I was actually having a conversation about this with my brother, who's older than us. He's he doesn't know anything about this industry, so it's wild to see like somebody who's they're like, wait a minute, you're telling me that woman made like $18,000 in one night just from sleeping with the camera on, and like they don't believe it. I don't believe it, but I'm looking at this stuff and I'm saying like, okay, you got people. People are doing streams where they eat on camera. People are doing streams where they sleep on camera, and
Mm-hmm.
people love it, right?
Yeah.
What's the next frontier?
Mm-hmm.
I got it. I'm gonna take a dump on stream
I was just thinking that.
because it's like the only thing that hasn't been done.
Yeah.
I mean, or
Yeah.
obviously there's some terms of service issues with
Yeah.
that, perhaps. But I mean, like, I don't know, like, I don't know, brush it. I could brush my teeth. You want to watch me brush my teeth? Like, what do you want from me? I only have
Well,
so much of myself left to give.
yeah. But like a Truman Show type of like deal, I think it's
Yeah.
going to be getting like more and more popular. Like it's something I've been thinking about for a while. Like obviously, I mean, like I said earlier, I have a kid, I have a wife, I'm not alone. But if I was like single man, I would try that experiment. I would put like cameras all around my house, and I would
Hmm.
just like be streaming 24/7.
This is
No, bottom line.
German 985's Dollhouse. Have you seen it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's exactly that. I always saw him doing that as kind of like a little bit of a kind of a piss take or what have you on like that whole on whatever that is where people are drawn to that kind of content where they want to just watch
Yeah,
a person go about their daily life.
yeah.
Would I
I
try
think
the
it's gonna
same?
get bigger though.
You think so?
Yeah,
Uh,
I
I
think so.
I mean I could see okay I could see streaming doing interesting like or remotely interesting things like okay I'm gonna cook. That's
Hmm.
obviously that would make great content. I'm gonna cook.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go take a trip to the grocery store and stream that, on my
yeah,
phone or whatever. Or I'm gonna go check out. I'm just gonna go walk. I'm gonna go take a walk and look at things, which explains the popularity I think of the GeoGuessr streams that I do.
hmm
Love that game by the way.
yeah,
Um, I could see interesting things. I'm gonna go to the YMCA and work out,
hmm
exercising, taking a swim in a pool, you name it. But sleeping, where you literally sit there and sleep and just exist
yeah.
and breathe. What is
Right.
going on there? Why are people going nuts for that?
Well, I mean, let's not. I mean, I don't know because I personally don't care, but I mean, people care about many things. I mean, I think it's if anything,
Uh-huh.
it's interesting because I've often asked myself like, what do I look like when I sleep?
Yeah.
Like do I like I snore, but like how much instead of like so having a camera seeing someone else sleep because how often do you watch someone sleep in life? You literally like sit there and watch someone sleep. So I think that there's like not mysterious, but like it's intriguing. I think for me at least, I feel like
I
it's
have a
an intriguing
theory.
thing.
I have
Yeah. Okay.
a personal theory, like
Yeah.
especially in the terms of like like attractive female streamers.
Yeah.
I think the audience is just waiting for her to fart. Like I think they are just like bated breath. They're like, is she gonna fart? Is she gonna fart? Is she gonna fart? She's been asleep for 7 hours. She's got to fart sometime, and they're just waiting. Like I think because what else? What else is it? I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but you earlier you mentioned, going to the gym, going to the grocery store. Like that's what I have in mind. Like I'm saying, like
Mhm.
a 24/7. Like you're home. You have cameras
Mhm.
everywhere. You have cameras like in your bedroom as well. You bring your phone,
Mhm.
like your camera. You stream like whenever you go out of the house as well. Like
Mhm.
you always stream. Like an always stream on. I think that's going to be, I don't know. I can see this being more and more popular.
People's just
Um,
streaming their entire lives, their every day
yeah,
to day
yeah,
waking moment. Sure.
yeah, yeah. I think it'd be gonna be something. Now, next segment, last segment is
Mhm.
called rapid fire. Okay, it's
Okay.
15 questions,
Okay.
two possible answers. You just don't think, just answer.
Just yes or
Okay,
no.
it's
Just
this or that, this or that.
okay.
Yeah,
This or that. Okay. Okay.
right. All right, you ready?
Mhm.
Let's do it. Would you end world hunger or not end world hunger?
End world hunger.
Be in jail for a year or lose a year of your life?
Lose a year of my life.
Explore space or explore the oceans?
Explore space.
Eat a rat or eat a hamster?
Rat.
GeoGuessr or Fall Guys?
GeoGuessr. GeoGuessr.
Would you rather be smacked in the face with a fish or with a banana?
Fish.
Be
It'd be
covered in
funnier.
fur? True. Be covered in fur or be covered in scales?
Fair.
Would you rather be tissue paper or toilet paper?
Tissue paper. Because it doesn't go on butts.
Have all your
Snot.
thoughts become
Yeah.
well, there's other things, but have all your
Oh, oh, I didn't have enough time to think about it. Sorry, it's rapid fire. Go ahead.
have all your thoughts become public, or have your browser history become public?
The browser history. Browser
Have no
history.
have no elbows or no knees?
No knees.
Cookies or candy?
Cookies.
Have all your clothes fit perfectly, or never have to do laundry again?
Never have to do laundry again.
Would you rather vomit on a baby or have baby vomit on you?
Vomit on the baby.
Take a shot of cough syrup or vinegar?
Cough syrup. Hate vinegar.
What did the buffalo say to his son when he dropped him off school?
Bye, son.
There you go. Nailed it.
Oh man.
Awesome, man. That was a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, I loved
yeah,
this. Thank you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate it.
absolutely. Well, thank you for spending the time with me, with us, opening up. It was really great to get to know you, and I
Me
invite
too, man.
every single person listening right here, right now, to go check out Jabroni Mike on Twitch at twitch.tv/Jabroni_Mike. On Twitter, same thing, Jabroni_Mike. Jabroni is Jabroni. And on YouTube, just type, Jabroni Mike on YouTube. You Google Jabroni Mike, and you'll find all his social links there.
Yep.
Guys, if you want us to interview someone specific, let us know in the comment section. Reach out to us. Tell us who you want us to interview next. Don't forget, we're here every Tuesday. We'll see you next week. Thanks again, Mike.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks
Thanks for listening,
Bye-bye.
everyone.